Have you ever hit that sweet spot where everything's going right, doors open, and opportunities magically appear? That is what golden alignment is all about. Dr. Beth Golden loves to play in that golden space and teach others how to get there and stay there. Get ready to listen, share, and experience what golden alignment in life can look like for you. Now, here's the host of Golden Alignment, author, speaker, and coach, Dr. Beth Golden.
Hello, happy Wednesday to all. I am Dr. Beth Golden, and my guest today is Jonelle Davis, and we're going to talk about moving from a professional career counselor to a powerful intuitive guide and clairvoyant. It's going to be a fun discussion. Jonelle connects with her clients, acknowledging both the pain they have experienced and the gifts they are meant to share. She believes that when someone understands our pain and delights in our hopes and dreams, and when we're truly seen for the sweet souls that we are, we start living our lives with joy and contentment. She believes when our deep, sensitive experiences and feelings are received with compassion and hope, we can move on and lead happier lives. Jonelle connects with your higher self, your angels, and your guides, and she opens your Akashic Records to share with you the messages and insights that support, direct, and inspire you to lead the life of your dreams. Jonelle's worked in professional counseling for 18 years. She holds a master's degree in counseling and an undergraduate degree in marketing. Jonelle's training has taught her to be a skilled listener and a source of compassion, support, guidance, and insight. In 2011, a new skill set emerged, that of a powerful clairvoyant and intuitive. Jonelle now helps people embrace their reason for being here, both personally and professionally. Thank you for being with me today, Jonelle. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you, and thank you for asking. I'm really excited to be talking with you.
Well, I'm excited as well. As I'm reading your bio and paragraph about what you've been doing, it's like, okay, moving from corporate mindset and then embracing these gifts that you acknowledged, that's a leap. At least in my opinion, that's a leap. So would you be kind enough just to share some of your background, what you were doing? Like, was there we'll get through this, but I know, was there conflict in making a choice to switch from what you're doing then to what you're doing now?
I'm happy to talk about that. I believe that we all have times in our lives where we have to remember who we are, and we have to embrace who we are. And sometimes that's wonderful and fun, and other times it's challenging because it means you have to make some changes. So I was a trained career counselor. I have an undergraduate degree in marketing. I loved marketing. And then I thought I really want to help people on a really deep, wonderful level, and I decided to go get my degree in counseling. And I specialized in career counseling. So I worked at different colleges, and then I worked part-time by seeing clients at home while I was raising our children. And then when we moved to Colorado, I had the opportunity to become a professional career counselor with a small firm. Now, what's interesting about this firm is one I've heard so much about. Before I even moved out to Colorado, I used to drive by the adorable Craftsman bungalow where this firm was located and think, boy, I really want to be in there. I really want to work with her. This woman had a fabulous reputation, and I loved the feeling that I got when I went by this beautiful home. And when I had the opportunity to volunteer and then be hired as a career counselor, my whole world just shifted into joy and possibility. And I had the chance to work there for a couple of years. And every time I walked through the door of that adorable home, I felt like I was coming home. There were hardwood floors. All the rooms were changed from a small bedroom to my office. There was even a kitchen in this home. And we helped people figure out the work that would make them happiest. We helped them get the jobs. We did resumes. I helped people interview. I did my career counseling. I mean, it was just a joyful, supportive place to be. And I loved doing it. And I loved doing the career counseling. And then I started getting some messages on behalf of my clients. Yes.
And then, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to add that in there because there's a turning point here. And then, go ahead.
I loved helping them, and I remember in the middle of helping this professional, interview. Well, I started getting these feelings and these messages, and I thought, this is really interesting. What am I going to do with this? And then it grew and grew and grew from there, where the clients would come in, and I could feel what was going on that you wouldn't see on their intake form or on their resume or on their work history. I could feel the pain that they were in, or the loss that they experienced, or what they were yearning for, what they were hungry for, and what was holding them back. And I could feel all of that as they came into my office. I thought, this is absolutely fascinating. What am I going to do with it?
Like, did it blow you away, or were you at a place where you're sitting and observing, and and how do you work that into the time that you were spending with them?
That's a really good question, because they came there for professional career development support. They didn't come there to talk to an intuitive. They didn't come there to talk to a spiritual guide or a clairvoyant. And I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with this information? And I thought, I trusted it. That's what took a lot of guts, was to trust what I was getting. So I would ask in a circuitous way the question that would lead them to opening up to the issues that I was already feeling on their behalf. I would ask questions like, tell me about your support system. Or what was the environment really like where you came from? And how did your childhood support you or not in making this change? And it led them to
career stuff?
Yes.
Like, was
exactly.
the child, okay.
Yes. And whatever was frustrating them at that moment. And then it became a physical awareness where I was waiting for one particular client. I remember this one specifically, where I started feeling an unbelievable pain in my elbow. And I thought, what did I do? I haven't hit my elbow. I haven't certainly been lifting weights or doing anything where I would harm myself. And I thought, this is really interesting. And I was waiting for the client to come in. They were a few minutes late. And she walked in, and she was lovely, and she apologized for being late. And she said, because as I was shutting the door to my car, I jammed my left elbow into the door frame, and it hurt so bad I had to stand there for a while before I could come in. And as she told this, I know. And as she told this to me, the pain went away from my arm and then apparently back to her. I thought, okay, that was interesting. That was just one of them. I could feel their back pain. I could feel the physical pain of the clients, my coworkers, my family members, and I thought, what am I going to do with all of this information?
Right.
What am I going to do?
So I'm sure you had this gift all along in life, and it was finally expressing itself in its fullness. Did you have experiences when you were younger and you ended up pushing them aside, or sometimes, like my sister had a later in life child, and she really supports Maya's being able to see things or have this amazing amount of knowledge for a 10-year-old. But I might venture to say our parents might not have had been tuned in the same way. So what was your younger life like?
I was always a sensitive child, but when you're a child, you think that your experience is everyone else's experience. You think, well, everyone must feel this way, which can make being sensitive even more challenging because you kind of assume that everyone else is sensitive and therefore kind and soft and sweet. And so when they say or do something that's hurtful, it's worse. because you just can't imagine doing that. You can't imagine doing that to someone
Yeah.
else, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
And
Wow.
at one point, I remember going to the doctor, the pediatrician, and back then my mom had 4 children, and so all 4 of us had the same appointment, same day, and we all took our turns. And I remember a really sweet doctor asking my mom, tell me about Jonelle. And my mom said, she's really sensitive. And I was young enough to not know what that word meant. And I also was the child of parents who were teachers, and my mom was a Latin teacher. So instead of answering my question, she said, you need to go home and look it up in the dictionary. I thought, oh, my goodness. So
you're not going to just tell me?
No. You need to teach yourself. You need to go to the source of knowledge. Knowledge is power. I mean, all the things I was taught as a kid. So I went to the dictionary and looked up what it meant to be sensitive. And what's really funny about this story is that when I read it, it hurt my feelings.
Oh, no. It hurt your sensitive feelings.
It did.
Oh, my.
I thought, oh, my goodness, what a wimp. That is so strange. That is so, oh, no. Am I that different? Am I that weird? It actually is. She was right.
But did you want to, you viewed that as being a negative rather than a positive at that point in your life.
I did. And being sensitive can bring you a lot of pain. And because you feel so much when you're an empath, when you feel other people's feelings, it can be overwhelming. And you choose to not be around so many people, right? Or to find a way to manage how you feel when you walk into a room or when you're with someone. And it was pretty overpowering. So I believe that everyone has wounds, painful experiences that are actually pointing them in the direction of what they came here to do. That I came here to use that sensitivity to help other people.
Wow. I'm writing this down. This is a perfect time for our first break because I want to come back to this, that we all have our wounds and those are the places where we need to be vulnerable and the student becomes the master and that we can help one another.
Okay.
So let's go into our first commercial break. You are listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden, and my wonderful guest, Jonelle Davis. And we will continue this fascinating conversation on the other side of this commercial break.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment radio show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back. You are listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden, and my guest today is Jonelle Davis, who was a career counselor, and she's kind of shifted how she lovingly supports people by her compassion and her empathic abilities. And Jonelle, it's interesting because I'm intuitive and I get hits of knowledge. Like I just know that I know that I know stuff. Or people will say something, and to me, it's like, well, how come other people can't see these puzzle pieces and how they fit together? And I can just, like, read things off really quickly. I have to say, I kind of am grateful that I don't feel things as you do, because I am sensitive, and I would wish the world was a nicer place, you know, because I, too, think, how can this be happening? But when you started having these, you're feeling other people's feelings and walking into rooms, and initially, I mean, you didn't want to shut it down, but that must have been overwhelming for you.
Yes, and you bring up a really good point. It was overwhelming, and I needed to find a way to manage it. And how could I take care of this? Because then I would be ill with other people's illnesses. I felt when my children had any type of physical trauma, I knew something had happened. I could feel all of that. And as much as it was a gift, it was overwhelming. And I thought, well, I'm not going to be living my life, you know, as a hermit. I have got to figure this out and do something with this, because it was overwhelming. And I used to joke with my friends as I was going through this transition, apparently I'm never going to be near, you know, a delivery ward, because I can only imagine the pain that I'd be feeling, you know, in the maternity ward.
Yes, I can hear the screams now.
Exactly.
Bringing forth life. Yes.
Right. So I sought out some help in how to fine-tune what I was doing, how to get the information quickly, but most importantly, how to observe but not absorb. How I would know that I could feel it, but I'd say, no, observe what's happening. Get the truth of everything, whether it's claircognizance, clairsentience, whatever it is, clairaudience, clairvoyance, to see it and then figure out how to best support that person. So I trained pretty heavily on that so that I could be more of a rock star with this instead of feeling like I've been hit by rocks, if that makes any sense. So I really changed my training. So I come from a very academic, very professional family. Everyone has very accepted and revered careers as teachers, principals, superintendent, lawyers, engineers, all of that. And that was pretty much the environment where I came from. So to take a look at the possibility of another realm that isn't necessarily as easily supported as the one that I came from, it took a lot of guts. It took a lot of guts, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So in that transition, share what happened with this cute business. I mean, you loved going there, and you're embracing your gifts, and I'm assuming still going to work. So how did you shift from doing that to moving into a practice? And I can remind you, and then what do you do in your practice?
Sure. I realized as I sought the training that I have developed or had been given the gift, really, of a different skill set, of gifts that did not belong and couldn't flourish in that sweet, beautiful, wonderful home. And I realized that I needed to leave. And that it wasn't just leaving company, it was leaving a way of life. It was leaving a chosen family that I was working. It was leaving what I had been directing my life going towards for years. And it was no longer where I was supposed to go. And it was no longer where I truly belonged. And it was very hard. It was very hard. And so I kept doing, free readings for people thinking, really? Is this what I can do? Really? Is this what I can do? I'm like, okay, seriously? How much more proof do you need that you can do this, okay? And that this is needed. This is really where my gifts come from, and I really need to be doing this instead. And I remember, of course, they had a going-away party. I mean, they're just lovely, talented professionals, but big-hearted people. And I remember on my last day, Beth, that the woman who owns this company said, you can always come back. And I thought to myself, no, I can't. I had tears in my eyes. I thought, no, there's no coming back. It was like, the genie's out of the bottle, and I have to go. I have to go.
Mhm.
So I then had to figure out how to run a business, how to market myself. Even though I have a marketing degree, this is marketing me personally. This was tough. I mean, it's one thing to here's a product and writing about a product, but this was talking about me and my heart and this crazy, wonderful, unbelievable gift I've been given and sharing it with people. It took a lot of guts. It really did.
I know, my mind's really going when you're talking about that, thinking, yes, because entrepreneurs have to figure out all these parts and pieces. You had the knowledge, but did you ever feel like, are people going to find value in this? Are they going to believe me?
It's funny. I felt the value in it. I knew I was getting the messages that they needed to hear. These are deep life mission messages. These just guidance and love and insight that can change their lives. I knew that. But it was so hard to say, guess what I can do? I mean, it was so hard to put that out there because it was such a big thing, It's like, seriously? You really? And like, yeah, I really can do this. It's really a wonderful thing. And what it created for me was an opportunity to learn to embrace who I was, and to embrace my gifts and to share them with people. And you think, you imagine some people would be rolling their eyes or look at all that education you had. You just wasted all that time and money and blah, 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 blah. And you knew that there are some people that aren't going to buy into it, but there are people, when they open their hearts to it, their lives could change. And it just really kept me moving forward and embracing the gifts and embracing how connecting with the other side, connecting with your angels, guides, loved ones, master souls, whoever they are, and being able now to open up their Akashic Records is truly healing them at a deeper way that I could have ever imagined I could have done in this lifetime.
Wow. I have two questions. I'm trying to think of which I should ask first.
Sure.
When people come to you, are there a variety of souls? Or do people come to you going, I know I'm supposed to be doing something, I can't get off the dime, can you help me? Or is it personal or 50-50?
It's pretty much everything. It's all of that. Some people come in with professional concerns, not understanding what work they need to do. But most of my clients come to me saying, I need to feel alive again. I want to be who I am. I want to feel love and give love. I want to live the life of my dreams. How can I do that? I'm afraid. I'm unsure.
Mm-hmm.
I had things said to me in my childhood that just stopped me in my tracks. I have people who will have a hard time if I step into this because it changes their world as I embrace who I really am and what I came here to do. How can I do this? How can I do this? So much of it is truly, when I tap in, I feel their fear, and I see what they came here to do. I mean, they show me. It's so clear what they came here to do. I hear their life's mission statement, and it's so emotional and so sweet and so wonderful. It just gives them clarity and confidence and the courage to make the changes that they need to make.
Well, and walking into what I would call the I am statements and owning it. Mm-hmm. Part of the assessment that I use, I create statements for people. And I can truly say, I am highly sympathetic, I have a natural healing disposition, I'm the safety in the storm, I process information at lightning speed. People need to know their innate being and to know their higher calling. So I think that what you're doing is really important. The challenges change, and the challenges asking for continued support as they move into what you're seeing that their soul has been calling them to do.
Yes, and that's one of the reasons that I ask whoever is there in the session to please give them, manageable steps. Give them something to do to help them move forward so that this doesn't seem like such a giant shift from where they are to where they want to be, to where their heart wants them to be, to where they're afraid to be, because it would be too amazing and so awesome and wonderful. Please give them some supportive little action steps that they can take. I have told my clients that it's like a boulder at the top of a mountain looking down at all the other lucky boulders that got to roll down that mountain and crash into the waves, And they're like, man, I want to go down there and be with them. And the universe is saying, just lean forward a little bit. Take a tiny step, and I'll help you. I got gravity, I got wind, I got all kinds of things, but you have to lean forward a little bit and take a small step, and I will help you get there.
I love that because I help people as well, but I tend to want to have the end right now. And we have to have all the steps. I listened to your story, and you had to have all those steps to bring you into the fullness of who you are now. And we can craft a very simple plan. Go and do this. Call me, email me. Then we will do this. And to be a constant reminder, let's not get too far ahead. If it gets going faster, if that boulder and you're just going with the momentum, that's great. I'm not going to put the brakes on, but I want to support you through this process.
Exactly.
Tell me about, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I didn't want to shift because I was going to ask you a question. So if you have something further to say.
Sure.
I'm supporting people.
I also believe in divine timing. When I had first started getting these messages for people, I could have said, okay, I'm done. I'm moving over. I'm going to become a clairvoyant. I'm changing my life. No. It had to come in the timing that was right for my life. I look back on it and go, now I understand why there was that uncomfortable transition or that wonderful transition, and to honor the fact that it happened when it was supposed to. It happened when it was supposed to. So divine timing is so important, and not push people to make the changes that their soul isn't ready to make yet. And to be the guide by their side and give them the inspirations that they need so they can move forward when they're ready.
I don't think it's their soul isn't ready yet. It's their humanness that isn't ready yet, because our souls knew what they wanted to do before they came into our particular vehicle. And I think it's connecting, again, with that higher self and believing and stepping into that wholeness and that picture of life and possibility. We are going to go into our second. We're going to go into our second break, and I want to. We'll pick this particular topic up on the other side, and then I also want to talk to you about Akashic Records and give us some enlightenment about that subject. So you are listening to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden, and my wonderful guest, Jonelle Davis. We will be going into our commercial break, and we will be talking about divine timing and Akashic Records when we return.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment radio show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613 800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back to Golden Alignment with myself, Dr. Beth Golden, and my guest, Jonelle Davis. On the other side of the break, we were talking about divine timing and not pushing people harder or faster than they need to go. And we come in with a mission in life, and we have all this noise in our head. And I always say it takes a long time to grow up. And typically sometimes in our 40s, it's like, okay, I'm ready for this. So talk to me about that with your clients, and then let's also talk about Akashic Records.
Sure. We go through different cycles in our life, 9-year cycles. If anyone has studied numerology, you see how every year of every 9 years is different. You go 1 through 9, then 1 through 9, and 1 through 9. And simplistically put, year 1 is starting over and looking around and seeing what your options are. And it's all about you and creating your new self, all the way through year 9, where you are releasing and letting go of what no longer serves you, whether it's personal or professional. 9 years can be letting go by choice or letting go by the universe, saying that job's actually done or that relationship is over. So there is that element of the timing that comes in that really does give you clarity on what you're supposed to be doing in this particular calendar year to embrace that energy and how that can help you move forward. So timing is essential. And I like what you said, Beth, and instead of what your soul is calling you to do or is afraid of doing, it really is our human ego, isn't it, that stops us, right? Our fears. It's our being human. And that is what holds us back. The soul waits, the soul yearns, the soul loves. We have to get ourselves to the place where we're willing to make the changes that we need. And sometimes it just happens in it always happens in beautiful divine timing, but sometimes it happens when you least expect it. And suddenly there's that opportunity and your whole life changes. Yeah.
I love that. I have this sense that when people come to you, now Jonelle is an office mate of mine, and when I've had one session with her, and we'll be choosing to do another, but initially I was very skeptical. And even though I'm open to all of this stuff, it was just like, well, I wonder what she's going to see. I wonder what she's going to tell me. I wonder if I'm going to believe it. And I'm saying this because everything was right on. My husband had passed away, as many of you know, and she had brought up different things about that part of my life. And so let's look at the difference between intuitive and Akashic readings. So, do you do both? How do you form what you're doing?
I do both. I started off doing intuitive readings, and I still do intuitive readings. And intuitive readings are where, I channel in the messages from your angels, your guides, your loved ones, from the archangels, from the ascended masters. I mean, they just give me the information, and I tell you everything they're telling you. I tell you what they're telling me. The readings are so comforting and so nurturing and filled with love and support and high vibration. It's just so touching to have an intuitive session. They are accurate. The information is timely. You get validations. You get a real sense of your life's mission. They're very loving, supportive, individual, unique readings. I decided, though, I wanted to know more about the Akashic Records because I kept hearing about them. I thought, well, what are the Akashic Records like, and how are they different than the intuitive readings I'm doing now? So I sought training as an Akashic Records reader. It's interesting to go from being a professional counselor, and you take, your classes, and realizing now I'm doing the same thing. I'm just taking different classes that are helping me professionally. Yes. So the training with Akashic Records readings was just fantastic. And I think that what made that so much more powerful to me is that I'm so trained as an intuitive that I pick up things so quickly, and I'm so clairvoyant that, boom, I was in there. And I can just read them. I can just start the process. The Akashic Records is where every thought, feeling, and experience that your soul has ever had across all of its lifetimes, they're all in there. They're all stored in there. Wow. And when I go in there, it's like, boom, here it is. They're scholarly readings, they're direct, and they're powerful. It is a vast source of spiritual guidance and infinite wisdom. Yes, there is love. Absolutely, there's love. But the feeling is very deep and powerful. You can come to me with questions, and they will answer them. They want you to live your life with clarity and confidence. Every time you open your Akashic Records, they expand. That knowledge expands. So I go into my own Akashic Records every single day. And it's just an amazing process. And I feel it all. And what it's like, when it first began, Beth, it's like I was seeing a stage, and they just showed me things. And I would relate that to my lovely client, and they would go, they would get it, and they understood it. And then once they understood the message that was behind what they were showing me, another image would appear over and over and over again throughout the hour. Now, when I open up their Akashic Records, I'm in the actual field itself, within them, and I'm surrounded by them. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful, lovely space in which to be.
Is it like a big library? Are you seeing words?
Initially, it was a stage where I was in the audience alone, and they would literally open up the curtains, and boom, I'd see everything, and I'd observe everything, and would say what I would see. Now, when I say the prayer to access the Akashic Records, I'm up in that stage, and I'm surrounded by everything. I'm surrounded by the experiences, the sights, the smells, the sounds, and then they show me one thing after another, like a play, and I describe it to my client. It makes sense to help them heal what they came there to be healed from and what they need to do to live a deeply moving, joy-filled life. So now I'm in the stage, but I'm surrounded on all sides.
Wow. Hey, can you do that right now? No. You can do it for Christine. She wouldn't mind. She just said yes. We don't want you to be a sideshow, but I am curious.
He said no.
Oh, how funny. That's why you need to make an appointment with her.
There you go.
Oh,
Christine, just let me know.
Yeah. And it's not, like you're saying, it's not a frightening thing. I've had another person remotely, download and send me their report, and it was really beautiful and revealing, and that's why I would love to have that experience with you to see if any part of that's repeated, or, we're moving forward to where I am now and the path that I would like to choose to follow that would best support my calling. And the reason I think about that is because I'm not getting any younger. And I know that not only are there 9-year cycles, but in my training, in your 20s, you're all about experimentation. And you might be a brand new vehicle and look good and you have all the rights and privileges, but you don't have a lot of experience. So you may travel and do all these different things. In your 30s, it's work, it's midlife crisis, it's having a lot of experiences that you can expect to turn out that way. 40s, it's all about personal awareness and saying, okay, I don't care what people think anymore. And what are my next tools? So there are different phases. And I'm I'm 61, and I feel my timeline shortening. So it gives me a lot more courage and an internal, it's not even an urge. It's like, I need to do this and I better get it done. I really don't want to come back again, I don't think. My life number's 9. It's like, can I just kind of figure this out in the next 20 years and get her done? Oh, my goodness. So do you have different people?
You have to remember.
Go ahead.
Well, as we get older, the depth of what we came here to do has grown. The depth of what we've experienced, the breadth of what we came here to share with others. So as you get older, you feel more compelled, ideally, and more confident. And I have learned so much. I need to share this with people, right? Doesn't that make you want to just start sharing now? And you are just on the other side, I believe, of your second Saturn return. And that's when you're saying to the world, here I am, like me or not. This is when the pink hat ladies, or, when they do all of that, or the red hats, they say, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is who I am outside of all of my prior career titles, out of my roles in my personal and professional life. This is me, and I'm going to be me. Mm-hmm. So we feel that desire more as we get older. And I think what was really helpful to me, some people, looked at where they saw where I was going as a trained career counselor. I said, wait a second, what about all that training? What about all that education? What about all of that? And you're doing this? And I said, yes, I am. And all of those experiences got me to this place. All of the counseling training, all of it. And it makes me able to deliver the messages and have my clients have the professional, caring, deep sessions that they came to have. And they feel supported and they feel safe. It all makes sense.
It absolutely supports what you do. You're a professional counselor. You're just going about it differently. But you're still asking, you're giving them information, but you're still asking them those leading questions. You're still listening. You are using all of your skills. I'm just going to give a little aside here about my second Saturn return, and Saturn is my ruling planet as a Capricorn.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yes. And we can talk about this later, but when this was all happening was also when my husband passed away 16 years ago. So it's always walking into a big change, and I'm ready. I have courage. It takes courage to do these things.
It does.
I'm on that other side of Dr. David Hawkins' emotional scale, and courage is above all the lower vibrations, so it's a good thing. We're going to go into a break right now, and I'm just going to, both of us, let's be in spirit about the next part of the message. I'm just feeling a big love and warmth and perfection in what we'll talk about on the other side. So we are going into our commercial break. I am Dr. Beth Golden, and you are listening to Golden Alignment.
Do you want to create change in your life based on your values? Do you want to love this experience we call life because you are living in alignment with your soul's calling? Do you want to expand your relationship with abundance and move from surviving to thriving? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You'll be amazed by your golden health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities. Listen for the Golden Alignment Radio Show every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices Radio Show, Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden. To participate in this program, please call U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You may also choose to comment by email by going to www.drbethgolden.com. Now back to Golden Alignment with Dr. Beth Golden.
Welcome back to Golden Alignment. I am Dr. Beth Golden, and my guest today is the lovely Jonelle Davis. If you have been listening, her voice is soothing and inspiring and creating excitement about looking at our lives in a different way. You know, we really don't often tap into the other side or give enough love and attention to that, which actually feeds us. Our souls came into our physical beings, and we're carrying them around in this life, and we're called to do something. And as we grow and have many experiences and quiet ourselves, we actually have a better opportunity to connect and a willingness to step into our calling. As Jonelle was saying, on the other side, there's more of an urgency and a plethora of life experience to support that. So during the break, I was just saying I'm just feeling a lot of love and a great expansiveness. And is there anything that you are downloading or would like to share without me perhaps prompting with a question?
You know, I recently did a program called My Girl, and it was about women acknowledging how beautiful they are and acknowledging how beautiful other women are from the inside out, and how we all need to be seen as the loving souls that we are. And it reminded me of one time I went in and asked in my own intuitive reading, show me my mission in life. And they showed me with this beautiful, giant, multicolored bouquet of flowers. And people were lining up in front of me, but they weren't adults. They were children. They're sweet souls.
Wow.
And I would look at them and smile, and I would pick a particular flower, and they go, oh, and they would take that flower, and then they would go. They were so happy. One person after another, I could see what was unique and beautiful and lovely about them, that is my role. So with my clients, I see what is unique, beautiful, and lovely about them, and how they need to see that in themselves and to feel that joy and to have their pain be acknowledged. Later, I went in and did another intuitive reading on that very subject, and instead there was a field full of flowers, and I was teaching people, and they knew which flower instinctively was theirs because they had felt into who they were and they remembered, and they could then go pick their own flower. I felt that was a sign that it went from the guidance coming through me to them to teaching them, like at the end of their session, at the end of their reading, that they now recognized who they are and they can go make that choice for themselves and embrace it every single day. That's when I've done the job I came here to do, for sure. And you know, the golden alignment it's just such a perfect work for you, because we constantly have to make these changes. That was my last change, but I know as comfortable and as amazing and beautiful as I feel with the work that I'm doing now, I'm going to be moving on to more, and I have to do it again. I have to expand again and keep moving on. We are not done. I know there's medical intuition is where it's just the sharp messages that are coming in. I know I'll be studying shamanism, and I know that's going to happen. I'm going to have to allow that to expand so I stay in alignment throughout my entire life. We're not done, Beth.
So when people come to you and say, oh, you know, what am I supposed to do? It's like, well, maybe you're supposed to be doing this now. Because I think about that. My dad was a very skilled and intuitive pediatrician. And then he was a businessman. And then he ran hospitals in the United States and the United Kingdom. You know, so our lives come in many changing golden alignments. And I think it's really important that we are open enough to move when those changes come. Some of them feel like we've been hit upside the head, and some of them we choose, and it's a much more peaceful and joyful experience, which all adds to the wholeness of who we are. But I appreciate you sharing that about we're always changing. Darn it. But I also think, like my dad knew when he was 5 years old he wanted to be a doctor.
Wow.
And then he did that, I think, through his 60s and maybe even early 70s. So some people come in knowing quite young and or listening. And keep that thought. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. And so, I know that I came in here to connect people. I've always been a connector and to share love. And that whole mission has remained the same, but how I define it has changed throughout my life. That mission has not changed. I'm here to spread love. I'm here to help people connect, and how I connect now is very different than how I connected as a child, as a career counselor. It's now as, an intuitive guide and clairvoyant. I provide the connection, and it fills them up in a different way as I'm a different person and I've grown and changed. And I just have to expand as my life expands and just keep moving on.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, because it makes a lot of sense, and your mission has been the same, just the way you are giving it to the world, because you are a wife and mother, and now your boys are up and out of the house. So the way you're going to be expressing that is to the larger humanity. We are very close to ending the show. We have about 3 minutes left. Will you please give your contact information if people would like to get to know you? And Jonelle is also listed on my archive page with a full bio, and that's on Inspired Choices Network. But Jonelle, why don't you go ahead and share your information?
I'd be glad to. My website is Jonelle Davis Intuitive. It's JONELLEDAVIS Intuitive. So JonelleDavisIntuitive.com. And if you want to reach me by email, it's Jonelle at JonelleDavisIntuitive.com. I also offer free half-hour consults. So if there's anyone who is uncertain or has never had a reading or wants to know what it's like to work with me, they can schedule their own free half-hour consult, and we will talk on the phone. And you can see if this is the connection that you need. And am I the person that's here to guide you, or is there a different place that you need to go? So I offer that so people feel comfortable and they can make an informed, loving decision. So Jonelle at JonelleDavisIntuitive.com. And, I meant to say this earlier. My sessions are not just in person. I also do sessions over the phone. Many of my clients are throughout the United States, and phone sessions are just as powerful and just as loving as in-person sessions. So don't feel that you have to travel to get the love and the light that you need.
Yes, and it is beautiful because you can be in the comfort of your home. And quite honestly, when you are surrounded by and perhaps overwhelmed by the love of God, the universe, it's very emotional. And I don't mind. I never mind crying because that's like my first way of connecting with people, not crying, but emotion. And but those of you who might be a little bit more reserved might actually be more comfortable in your home and in a place where you feel safe and secure, and you don't have to get in a car and drive somewhere afterwards, because you might be launched into a little different vibration, leveling up, and sometimes driving afterwards can be disconcerting. Well, I'd like to thank everyone who has been listening, and thank you, Jonelle, for being my guest today. Stay tuned for next week's show. I will be talking about knowledge, clarity, and confidence. So I love having you as listeners, and I look forward to our time next week. Take care, and God bless.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Golden Alignment. Dr. Beth Golden will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific. on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, enjoy playing in that golden space where health, wealth, love, and magical opportunities appear in gold.